Today I'm talking about the second album by Boston metal band Wargasm, Ugly. The record was released in September of 1993 in Europe and then in January of 1994 in the United States. January 25th, according to this sell sheet. So why am I talking about the second Wargasm album when the debut Why Play Around gets so much love? Well, that's exactly why. When I started doing these one album episodes of this podcast, one of the main ideas was to talk about records that people aren't talking about as much, or ones that, had some sort of interesting or amusing story connected to me, or just a record that had an interesting story, or at least one I thought needed to be told. In a few minutes here, I'll run the conversation I had with the bass player, vocalist, and lyric writer for Wargasm, Bob Mayo, about this record. Bob asked me the same question, why I wanted to talk about this one. And the other thing with their records, and maybe I say this because of my birth certificate, it says Boston, Mass. Beth Israel, to be exact. But the first Wargasm, Why Play Around, is a top-tier thrash metal debut that I would argue is better than any of the other debut thrash metal albums that you're probably thinking of right now. But we won't get into that. The other reason is the songwriting on this record. It's way beyond the first record. It's definitely a grower of an album. And even as, I've lived in this record for the last month or two, just as I was researching this record and, trying to get into the headspace of the album. So I've been listening to it a lot. And, it's hard to come up with a favorite song. And the record, born from a period, where the band found themselves essentially in limbo for a long time. And Bob details this story in our conversation, which fills in a lot of the blanks on why the record is what it is. The majority of the lyrics on this record are more personal and based in reality of what was happening at the time while the band was without a label. Before we get into the conversation with Bob, though, let's talk about this record for a minute. I was already a huge fan of this band. Boston had a handful of great metal bands, but Wargasm was probably my favorite, next to Malaya Rage, maybe. I had the Gasm It demo, which included 3 songs on the record that ended up on Ugly. The Rudest Awakening, I Breathe Fire, and Dreadnought Day. All of the recordings are great. You can find them on the Rumors of War, the complete demo anthology, which, as you guessed it, has all of their demos in one place. The song that stood out for me on this demo was definitely I Breathe Fire, a fast-driving song with some pick-hand chugging that might make James Hetfield and Scott Ian jealous. With that said, this song always had a Metallica sound to me, like 1982 Metallica. The recordings of these 3 songs on the Gasm It demo are great, and it's always nice to go back to them and see what little tweaks they made before recording the full length. The Gasm demo was recorded in March of 1991, and the Ugly record was recorded 2 years later. So there was, some time for these songs to grow. When Ugly came out and I heard the bigger sounding recordings of these songs alongside with the other 8 songs that I hadn't heard, and they became even larger than life to me. Hooray, a new whole full length of Wargasm music. And like I said before, this was, a grower for me. And still to this day, I switch out my standouts. I was heavy on the first half of this record for a long time until I really dug into the lyrics of all the songs. And I mentioned it to Bob in our conversation, how I thought the last 4 songs sort of told a story. And I think thematically, they can be interpreted as that. Musically as well. I don't see any song in this record closing it other than Dreadnought Day. Side 2 is heavy lyrically, musically, and it closes out the record perfectly, that song. As far as performances on this record, all these guys are at, the top of their game here, but good Lord is Barry Spielberg stand out on this record, the drummer. His playing is top notch. He's like part Filthy Animal, part Ian Pace. Just always right there with Bob. This record is not available right now, at least on vinyl, which was reissued a few years back, and they really did a great job on this one and Why Play Around. It's a 2-record set. It's only 3 sides of music, but there's some great liner notes in here from Bob. Lyric sheet, pictures, all that fun stuff. But yeah, they did a great job on this, and they also released the Maniac demo on vinyl, which was the name before Wargasm. I never owned this or Why Play Around on vinyl until now, but you can buy this streaming from the band's Bandcamp page, and of course it's on all the streaming services as far as I know. Give this record a listen, and if you're not familiar with this band, maybe check out Why Play Around, watch this video, and then listen to Ugly and see if it makes sense musically and thematically, or I shouldn't tell you what to do. Let's get to Bob. Here's my conversation with Bob Mayo. Bob has now been on the podcast 4 times, the most of any guest. This being his 4th time on here, and I'm sure he will be on here a number of more times. He's always welcome here. So thanks, Bob, for taking the time to talk about this record with me, and thank you for watching. All right, well, thank you, Bob Mayo, for coming on and talking to me yet again. You have the distinction of being on this podcast 4 times now. You were tied with Keith Bennett, who was on 3. So now you're on here 4 times.
Yes.
So
that's great. It's good to be back, and thank you for inviting me back. It was fun all 3 of those previous times. I'm sure this is going to be great too.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk about the Ugly record, but to start that story, 1988, Why Play Around comes out on Profile Records, and that record does well with fans and critics, but the record label not so much. So what happened there after that was released?
Nothing really. We did all the radio promo. We scratched and scraped together a couple of mini tours. We did as much as we could in New England. We sent copies of the album out to radio stations and fanzines all over the world. We were basically the promotion team, because Profile just did not give a shit. They did not spend a penny. They did not spend any effort. And we weren't just going to sit back and let that happen, because the initial response was great. Like you said, the critics liked it. Everybody that had been following us in New England up till that point loved it. We knew it was good.
Yeah.
And the radio stations, college radio across the country, was super supportive of it. So we just decided, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen because of us, not because we're not going to sit back and let the record company handle it, because they obviously weren't. So when it came time by the time it came time for album number 2, we had already decided 1000% we're not going to give another record to this label. It's not going to get us anywhere. We know we're better than that. We know we can do better. We need to grow every year. And right now with this label, it was a complete dead end. So we all committed to getting off the label.
Yeah.
And the problem we encountered right away was that you have to actually get someone to speak to you about leaving the label
Right.
before you can leave because you're contractually obligated to them. And they didn't return calls. They just didn't care. They had put the record out after being frustrated with uh, Chris Williamson's lack of Rock Hotel getting a new distribution deal.
Mhm.
Their clock ran out. They put it out. They thought, okay, it's out. We can recoup a few bucks. And now we were just dead. We were under contract to them, but we were dead to them.
Right.
We mattered not to them at all. So fighting them was even harder because they didn't care because we couldn't engage them.
Yeah.
Our lawyer couldn't engage their attorneys. They just didn't care. So the result of that was a lot of wasted time and a lot of wasted money.
Mm.
We continued to write and record demos because that's what bands do, but
Yeah.
also because we wanted to let the underground know that album number 2 should be out now, but it's not, but we're still here.
Right.
So that's why I think we did 3 demos
Yeah.
before the Ugly came out, just to try to keep sending up flares that we're still here.
Yeah.
Here's some new material. If we don't have a label to do it, we're going to do it ourselves. And it turned out to be almost 5 years
Yeah.
before we were finally able to get let go by Profile. And in that time, we had grown an awful lot, but the music scene had changed an awful lot too.
Right.
So when the record came out, it's a real representation of all the growth that happened in the band over that 5 year period as writers, as players. Um, but it also kind of came out into a market that was very, very different. And really, the only place that it really resonated was in Europe,
Yeah.
specifically Germany, but Europe, it was very well received. Um, much to our chagrin, Boston had pretty much moved on to more like alternative
Yeah.
kind of stuff. And we kept continued to play in New England, but the crowds, we had kind of lost momentum there
Yeah.
and things had changed and moved on. But we were lucky enough to get a couple of tours over to Europe for that record because the label that finally picked us up was very supportive. They didn't have really any clout in the US,
Right.
but overseas they were a major player in the underground metal scene, and they got us over there 3 times, twice,
Yeah.
twice. But yeah, so it's a. I'm interested as to why you wanted to know about that album and not why Play Around. Everybody, for years, decades, everybody wants to talk about why Play Around. No one's ever asked me to do an interview or a podcast about Ugly.
Well, I think one of the things I kind of want to do with this podcast is kind of do stuff that other people aren't covering, you know. Um, and I thought the story behind this record has always been, you know, a great, well, not a great story, but it, you know, what happens in between this record and Ugly formed Ugly, and what this record represents lyrically and, you know, musically, where you guys ended up. And I, you know, I thought it was a story that needed to be told, you know, and it's another chapter of metal in Boston that's, you know, like I was talking to you about the other day about how, you know, it's not covered as well in you know, metal in New England and Boston through the years. So
Yeah,
I think any kind of story revolving, you know, bands or specific records is should be documented, you know, because it's some great stuff. So
cool, cool.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough record for me to analyze because when I hear it song by song, I think, okay, we wrote that song in 1990.
Yeah.
And then the next song comes up, and okay, we wrote that one in
Right.
1991, and
Yeah.
there was so much time.
Yeah.
So we had time to grow, but we had time to try a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Um, like I say sometimes, that old saying about bands having years and years and years to write their first record, but no time at all to write the second one. So the
Yeah.
sophomore slump, the second one's usually weak.
Yeah.
We had all the time in the world to write the second one.
Yeah.
We had time to experiment and try things. If it didn't work, we just start again. Uh, so it's a real mishmash of stuff on there. It's
Yeah.
a very wide variety of material on there.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting record that way. It's not a proper follow up to Why Play Around, and
Yeah.
I think I wonder if the people back in New England at the time that heard it had they moved on, and had they grown with us, and were they willing to go on the ride with us and listen to this record and appreciate it for what it is, or were they all say, well, after 5 years, it's not Why Play Around Part Two.
Right.
Um, so I've always wondered about that. Um, it, Why Play Around was a record that was made by three dumb kids who had no idea what they were doing, but were having a blast.
Oh yeah.
Um, all the right things happened at the right time
Yeah.
for a little while.
Yeah.
And then Ugly was made by three older and wiser, kind of bitter, kind
Yeah.
of frustrated, kind of angry, but committed to get something out there.
Yeah.
So the vibe is completely different, and
Yeah.
the lyrics are very different.
Right.
Uh, the lyrics really started to reflect what we were going through personally with the long wait.
Right.
Um, none of us ever considered breaking up or giving up.
Right.
We really knew we had something great,
Yeah.
and if we did it once, we can do it again. We just kept pushing and pushing and pushing for that break.
Yeah.
And in a way, that break was Massacre Records, who finally got Profile to let us go.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think Profile probably just got sick of all the voicemails and said, "Fine."
Right.
I think a lot of it might have had to do also with Profile got picked up by Arista,
Oh, okay.
and Arista didn't want any of the Rock Hotel stuff. They weren't interested at all.
Yeah.
They just wanted the rap
The hip
stuff.
hop stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So Profile was left with all of Chris Williamson's bands on Rock Hotel, and they finally just said,
Yeah.
somebody wants it, they can have it. Let them go.
Right.
Had they done that 4 years before that,
Right.
I don't know, where would we be right now? I
Yeah.
have no idea. But Massacre treated us really, really well.
Yeah.
Gave us a proper budget for the record. They gave us tour support. They gave us promo, tour posters. They facilitated merchandise for us. They hooked us up with uh, sponsorships, with endorsements with Dean Markley, stuff like that. It was like,
Nice.
okay, we're finally taking that step, but it was only in Europe,
Right.
and it was 5 years late.
Yeah. Right.
So the first time we went over, it was before Ugly, actually. We went over with Biohazard,
Right.
and they were still kind of an underground phenomenon. Their first record was the only one that
Yeah.
they had out, and the tour was booked in really, really small clubs. It was booked into youth centers. It was very small scale, but the kids came out like crazy.
Yeah.
And we met a lot of kids that were into us from Why Play Around, and we were told many times we never thought we'd ever see you, because it was that one great album and then you
Right.
disappeared.
Yeah.
So I mean, we credit Massacre a lot with breathing that life back into the band for a little while,
Right.
because
Yeah.
things went a little bit south with them too,
Right.
ultimately.
Yeah.
But that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
The second time we went over with support from Massacre, we went over with Tankard,
Hmm.
who's like this German thrash band,
Yeah.
uh, very very well established in Europe, lots of
Yeah.
records, and it was small theaters.
Hmm.
So that was great. That was
Yeah.
yet another step up. Tour buses instead of a van,
Right.
hotels instead of a
Yeah.
van. Uh, that was great. And we were even asked to relocate to
Hmm.
Germany
Oh,
by
wow.
the label, which we considered. But we still felt like we have this going on over here in Europe. Now, what we need to do is try to get it going back on over in the States.
Hmm.
So maybe we won't have to move. Maybe
Right.
and Massacre started a U.S. arm,
Oh,
so
okay.
so that kind of convinced us too that maybe we should stay put and try to work it over here.
Right.
And at that point, when the album came out in America, super super small scale,
Hmm.
but it was like Massacre USA or something like that.
Yeah.
We went out with Nuclear Assault
Oh, wow.
for like 3 or 4 weeks.
Hmm.
But that again, Nuclear Assault was kind of where we were musically, like still playing thrash, trying to figure out how to fit into the new landscape. With
Yeah.
it was Soundgarden, Faith No More, Alice in Chains, Typo Negative was huge.
Mm.
It was like everything had taken a real left turn. I love all
Yeah.
those bands,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but that's not what we were doing.
Yeah.
So it just wasn't in the cards then either.
Yeah. Any kind of traditional metal seemed to kind of, or traditional thrash, or just traditional metal, uh,
Yeah, and
did kind
and
of get swept aside.
in the time that it took us to get Ugly out, if I have my timelines correct, all the major thrash bands like the Big Four had already gone through their "What Should We Do Now"
Yeah. Yeah.
albums. Like
Yeah.
um, Metallica got weird,
Yeah.
Anthrax got weird,
Yeah.
um, Megadeth was trying to get on the radio,
Yeah. Yeah.
and who's the Slayer put out that what
Oh,
people
the
call
covers, the
it
covers.
calls their yeah that, and then the new metal stuff started to.
Oh, yeah. 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 Yeah.
So it was just it was a
Yeah.
weird. Hey, we're back, but
Right. Right.
we weren't the flavor of the month for sure.
Right. Yeah. Did you when that happened with Profile? The other bands on there were Cro-Mags, Leeway, and
Murphy's Law.
Murphy's Law. Did you have any sort of camaraderie with those guys because they were all sort of going through the same thing?
Cro-Mags, Cro-Mags, yes, Cro-Mags. We toured with Cro-Mags. We traded shows,
Yeah.
New York and Boston with Cro-Mags. We were very close with Cro-Mags. Um, yeah, we had that in common. We all hated Chris, and we all
Yeah.
hated Profile, and we all got screwed.
Right.
Murphy's Law, we played some shows with, but those guys, um, we never really talked business with those guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were all not really interested in talking business.
Yeah.
Leeway, we never played with Leeway,
No.
and I don't know that I've ever met anybody from Leeway, but
Yeah.
I mean, I felt for everybody was in the same boat. Everybody had a lot of good records in them,
Yeah.
just got stuck.
Yeah. And then, so the lyrics you're writing, that first demo you do in 1990 has Blood Flood, Dead Man Smiling, Ugliest to the Bone. And those are all pretty, you can tell where where you're coming from with those three songs.
Yeah, I mean, the lyrics on "Why Play Around" are all like horror movie stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
It was fun and scary and all that when you're 18, 19,
yeah,
20.
right.
And then 5 years go by and you've just been, your career has been derailed. Your dream was within your grasp and stolen away.
Yeah,
So the lyrics definitely matured a lot and got a lot more topical and a lot more personal,
yeah.
for sure.
And how did your bandmates feel about that? I mean, obviously in the same place, but you write all the lyrics in
Yeah.
Wargasm, right?
Yeah. Honestly, neither one of those guys is lyrics guys. I would come up with the lyrics written down so I could rehearse with him, and they would
Yeah.
just be relieved that, okay, he's got words.
Yeah.
I'm honestly not really sure if they knew what any of it was about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Some
they
of
were,
it's metaphoric stuff.
yeah. I always tried to make them work on two different levels, like face value,
Yeah.
but also if somebody knew me and what I was going through, how I felt, they would get it. They would
Yeah.
totally get it.
For sure. And you were and that first one was only given to labels. That wasn't sold to anyone, right?
Yeah, we had a deal with Normandy. They would let us record there for free
Hmm.
if we agreed to do the record there whenever there was a record,
Yeah.
um, as long as we didn't sell it. So the loophole that we used was we gave it away.
Yeah.
So we just sent it all over. You know, the tape trading network was still happening. So
Yeah.
we plugged it into the tape trading network. We sent it to zines all over the world. And it was pretty well received. But you just can't beat that. Should have been the second album, but it's a demo tape with 3 songs on it.
Right. Right.
So it was what it was.
Yeah. And so how do you find Massacre Records? How do you guys get hooked up with them?
Well, when we were still battling with Profile and trying to find a way off, we managed to get ourselves booked into the Concrete Foundations Forum in California,
Hmm.
this 3-day gigantic metal industry convention. And there's a lot of shows that go on during the convention, but there was an unsigned band showcase. So labels who go to the convention from all over the world could have that night to go
Right.
check out bands that weren't signed. And even though technically we were still signed to Profile,
Yeah.
we managed to get booked onto that
Yeah.
night. So we played a showcase, and Thomas from Massacre was there.
Hmm.
And basically that day, that night, offered us a deal.
Yeah.
And we told him, well, you got a lot of work to do. You got to get somebody on the phone to release us from our contract.
Yeah.
And within a couple of weeks, we found out that he did it, that he
Nice.
got the okay. He released the contract was null and void. We signed a new agreement with them, and we were off and running with them.
Hmm. And was that kind of humbling to have to play like a as an unsigned band when you guys were, pretty established at that point?
No,
No.
uh, no. I mean, it was an opportunity to
Yeah.
try to get out of the situation we were in.
Yeah.
That's really all we were thinking about is what. All right, what can we do?
Yeah.
Well, this will work. Maybe that'll work. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Um, we never really felt like, internally we were all extremely frustrated, but it wasn't something that like poisoned us as people. It wasn't like it didn't affect our outlook on our commitment to the band.
Right.
We still felt like we're doing this, we're in this is our life, we're not questioning it, we have to do what we have to do.
Yeah.
If we have to go play with a bunch of kids 10 years younger than us, and we have to play as an unsigned band and have that same goal to get signed as these kids do, we'll
Yeah.
do it. We'll
Yeah.
just do whatever we have to do.
Yeah. Nice. And at that point, did you have many more songs for the second record aside from the three from that? Because you did the Gasmit demo.
We did Gasm right before we went to Europe with Biohazard because we wanted to have something to sell
Yeah.
on the tour,
Right.
and it wasn't going to be the second album. So we decided to we really did the package up really well.
Mm.
We put nice photos in it. We put the lyrics in it. I think it was a fold out. It was a big deal
Yeah.
because we wanted to give the kids something to go home and again say this band is still here. The band is still viable. They're still relevant.
Yeah.
So we wanted it to look like a piece of official product
Yeah.
as much as we possibly could.
Yeah.
And that was another 3 songs. And then when we went to Foundations, we had the Spirit and Decay demo.
Hmm.
just that one song.
Hmm.
So that was 7 songs total
Yeah.
that we had at that point when we signed with Massacre. So um, we wrote a couple more,
Hmm.
and that was the record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you
When you
went in to record that, was sequencing like, was that sequenced in any sort of way? Because I feel like it kind of tells a story. At least I think the last One Man Army, Spirit and Decay, Dead Man Smile, Dreadnought Day, kind of, it's like a nice ending to that, to the record, I think.
I think sequencing in terms of like the type of song that follows this type of song,
Yeah.
like that kind of sequencing, definitely we put a lot of thought into that on all
Yeah.
3 albums.
Yeah.
Uh, but in terms of like a concept or telling a story,
No.
no, it's cool that you found that in there, but it wasn't
Yeah.
intentional.
Right. Right. Okay. Nice. And then, so when this album comes out, how was this record received by critics and fans?
Um, it wasn't as well promoted as the first one, ironically, because we did all the promo for the first one and we let Massacre do it.
Yeah.
Um, we're not super aware of the promo they did overseas because we didn't have access to those
Yeah.
magazines and stuff. There's still no internet yet at this point.
Yeah.
Um, there were some reviews in the States for it, very tough to find in zines,
Yeah.
and CMJ too. But it was, they weren't enthusiastic like they were about the first one, but it
Right.
wasn't because of the songs or the music or anything. It was more because the climate had kind of changed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So all these guys are really great at what they do, but what they do is yesterday.
5 years ago or whatever. Right.
That kind of thing. Yeah.
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 And
But in
for,
Europe, it's totally different. I mean, it was back then. Europe, you can still go to a show in Europe right now, and the grown men are wearing battle vests with 50 patches on it from
yeah.
Saxon and
Oh yeah, I know.
UFO, and like it does. It's not so trend driven.
No.
It's not so what's hip right now kind of thing.
Yeah.
If it's good over there, it's always good.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it's worth supporting, then it's always worth supporting.
Yeah.
So the trends didn't really hurt us too much over there. We could always find a bill or a band to tour with that
Yeah.
worked.
Yeah.
Over here, it was very different.
Yeah.
It
What do
was
you think
tough.
that is? Why do you think that? It seems like that's been like that with metal for years. Just is it the short attention span of Americans, or because it seems like Europe, the festivals they've had for years, and you watch any live show of Maiden, and people are humming along to the melodies of the songs.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a generational thing over here, it seems like the new generation of kids that came up after the thrash kids were all into new metal
Yeah.
and or alternative metal.
Right.
And all the subgenres and all the super microscopic categories
Yeah.
is big over here. Oh, I like this one, but not this one.
Right.
But it seemed to us over in Europe that metal was metal. They loved Typo Negative, they loved Soundgarden, but they also loved Motorhead
Yeah.
and Scorpions,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
this metal. Metal didn't get all broken down into all the different categories.
Yeah.
Which categories are cool today and which ones aren't.
Right.
It wasn't like that.
Yeah. And so this record in the first record, you have the rights to now because you released them on vinyl a few
Yep.
years ago. And how was that getting these back into sort of your hands to kind of get control of them?
It was amazing. It felt really great to put Ugly out again.
Yeah,
So now we have the internet, which makes marketing your stuff like a
I know.
breeze,
Yeah,
and it's free.
yeah,
You can do it from your bedroom,
yeah,
and as long as you have a quality piece,
yeah,
you can let anybody who might potentially be interested in it know about it and how to
yeah,
get it. It
Yeah.
couldn't be any easier. So we were really excited that we could get that record into hands,
Yeah.
ears in the US.
Yeah.
There's a ton of people when we finally kind of gained control of our internet presence.
Yeah.
Um, a ton of people gathered towards us on Facebook,
Hmm.
and lo and behold, we had 6 or 7 thousand people
Yeah.
following us,
Yeah.
and it was just perfect for us to get ugly out in everyone's faces,
Yeah.
and we it was great. We did a CD. We put some bonus tracks on it. We went back to the photographer who took the photo in the front and
Hmm.
found all the other photos that we had rejected. We
Yeah.
had a lot of fun putting that package together. There's a
Yeah.
lot of stuff in it.
Yeah.
And the vinyl too.
Yeah.
We didn't realize how long the record was, so it's actually a 2 record set.
Yeah.
Um, but it was great to finally control it.
Yeah.
So much of it had been out of our control for the longest time.
Yeah.
But each one of our records has a different story behind it and
Yeah.
a different legalities attached to it too.
Right. Yeah.
So with Why Play Around, the version we did was unofficial.
Yeah.
I consider it the definitive version.
Yeah.
You'll never see one better than this one,
Yeah.
but it was unofficial.
Yeah.
Ugly was our 100% official, owned by us, released by us,
Yeah.
packaged, designed by us, even remastered by Rich.
Yeah.
So that's great. But
Yeah.
the third album, Suicide Notes, is owned by someone who, again, will not let it go.
Still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He will not let us deal with it. He will not sell it to us. He will not do it himself. He won't spend the friggin' $50 to put it on iTunes and
Right.
Spotify.
Yeah.
He'll do. I've been in contact with him many times over the last 10 years,
Yeah.
and he almost seems kind of dedicated to not do anything with it.
Right. Right.
It's kind of bizarre,
Huh.
but yeah, that one will probably never see the light of day again. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Ugly is really the one that we rescued. We were able to rescue.
Yeah.
Um, and I think if you're out there and you're listening to this and you're a Why Play Around fan, now that you know the story, Ugly might make more sense to you.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
might have heard it. A kid today who's like 16, 17, 18, who hears Why Play Around because everybody talks about it being a lost thrash classic,
Hmm.
and they love it.
Yeah.
And then they go, "Oh, I'm going to get the second album, Ugly," and it's so different.
Right.
And maybe they're just going to write that off
Yeah.
because it's so different. But now I love that you're letting me get this story out
Yeah.
because
Yeah. Yeah.
context is a lot.
Yeah. Of course.
Backstory is huge. So
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, it makes sense, I think, if you know the story, and maybe you can appreciate it
Yeah.
better and deeper if you know the story.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I was hoping to do here. You know. So
Awesome.
as yeah, and so as like in the legacy of Wargasm, your opinion of this record. I think you had mentioned before you weren't 100% happy with your vocals on the record, but how do you feel about this record as a whole, aside from the shitty experiences you guys had to go through to get it made?
Well, I think I've never been happy with my vocals on anything I've ever done. That's
Yeah,
just kind of a given.
yeah, yeah,
But I think they're much improved from the first one.
yeah,
I will say that.
yeah,
I think musically we could have used a producer
yeah,
that we trusted.
right,
Um, I think this, to be microscopic about it, I think 2 or 3 minutes could have been edited out of Blood Flood and Spirit and Decay.
hmm,
I might not have even put Spirit and Decay on the record.
yeah, okay,
Uh, the 61-year-old me would probably say, nope, save
yeah,
that for later. It doesn't fit.
yeah,
But we just wanted everything on it. We wanted to
yeah,
make as big a splash as possible.
yeah,
But I think some of the things we tried work really well. Some of the things maybe not so much. And I hope that it's kind of in its own way, it's cohesive
yeah,
because it's so scattered in
yeah,
some ways. But
yeah.
my favorite Wargasm song ever is on this album.
Which
It's
one's that?
One Man Army.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah, that's a song. if I had to pick one song to give someone to say what's Wargasm all about? What was Wargasm trying to do for 10 years? That song is the song I would give them. That song probably would have been out of place on Why Play Around.
Yeah.
But I'm really, really, really proud of that song.
Yeah. And lyrically, what's that song about?
It's about a military vet who's having flashbacks, and they provoke him into violence. So again, it's a song about somebody who's not quite mentally healthy and maybe angry and lashing out.
Yeah.
So it fit right in with
yeah
how we felt.
How you were feeling at the time.
Yeah.
Definitely. Awesome. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on and talking about this record. You know, it's a great record, and hopefully people will seek it out. You can't buy the vinyl anymore. These are sold out at this point, right? Unless you buy it on the aftermarket.
I'm pretty sure the CD is out too.
Yeah. Okay.
But hey, it was fun while it lasted.
Yeah. And you have a Bandcamp with all your stuff up on there.
It's on Bandcamp. It's on Spotify. It's on iTunes. It's on all that stuff. Yeah, I really appreciate you giving me this opportunity to talk about this record.
Yeah.
And I hope people, hey, it's free and it's just a few clicks away. Check it out. Check it out and get in touch. Let me know what you think.
Definitely. Yeah, and if you're watching this, let me know as well, and I'll put some stuff in the comments, and I'll pass it on to Bob here. So yeah.
Thank you, Christian.
Yeah, thank you.
On parole out of the hole, a free man once again. Allow us past, you're out so fast, now to make the bend. Twisted brain, feels no pain, the system could not mend. Time to reap what others sow, the predator USN. Criminal frustration, building up inside, rehabilitation. A drop against the tide, social Where's your daddy? I won't hurt you. Have some candy.